the Artist Laboratory Theater, they have individuals on staff who help our attendees to those events speak through performance art, and it's a real interesting thing to see. Moving forward, we are working with the local GSAs, the Gay Straight Student Alliances in our high schools. We've started working with them quite a bit and are hoping to enable those student groups to connect to each other and draw strength from one another, and to progress in the work that it is that they're trying to achieve. And we still have a few schools that don't have GSA student groups. We're wanting to enable those schools to create a safe space in which that type of student group can come forth. We're always looking just for any kind of opportunity to plug in and make a difference.
Okay, yeah, because I know that the group that I'm personally involved with, the NWA Humanist Association, does really like to get involved with a lot of these too, because in a lot of ways, the goals of humanism for equality do intersect.
Exactly so.
Very well.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure if there's anything that we can do to help you out too, we'll be more than happy to.
And I think we've seen you at some of our events, and I know when we were at Razor Bash at the University of Arkansas, I think your table was right next to ours. It was kind of interesting. We do also work with the University of Arkansas with their Student Pride group, with their staff and faculty pride group, and we're connecting with the community colleges groups as well.
Okay.
And again, just creating an environment that feels safe to the LGBT individuals that are at those facilities.
Yeah, feeling like you're safe is really a very important thing too. I know that for myself, not so much for the LGBT part, but when I first came out as being a secularist, a humanist, being able to get around other people that were the same, it was just like a breath of fresh air, and it felt good to be able to just say I don't have to have any pretenses, that I can just be me and nobody cares.
Community, and as a community, when you look across our community, it's a wide spectrum of individuals. We have all ages, all races, all nationalities, education levels, you name it, it's there. We're like a little slice of America as a whole. And that's our overreaching and our common goal in everything that we do is it has to be something that is enabling us to strengthen the bonds in our LGBTQ community.
Right. So what are the plans? Do you have plans coming up? Have you started planning for Pride 2017 yet?
We have just started talking Pride 2017. We have indeed, and we've got some some fun things we're talking about. Typically Pride has run from Wednesday or Thursday through Sunday, and we're adding quite a few more days to the lineup. So we're going to be going from one complete weekend all through the week and then through the second weekend. So making Pride, 9 days long.
Wow.
We are adding some new components. We're wanting to have a Pride run, a Pride 5K run that kicks off the whole 9-10 days of Pride. We're looking at ways that we can involve some of the other groups and encourage them to do sort of their own Pride activities and be part of the official Pride lineup. We're talking about ways that we can improve the parade. We're always looking at ways to improve the parade and the festival, because that's really when we did a survey this year, it's the parade and the festival every year that's the kind of the crown jewel. We're wanting to also make sure that we're having Pride activities in all 4 of our major cities. So we want Pride activities in Bentonville, Rogers, Springdale, and Fayetteville. So we want to reach out geographically, but we also want to reach into some of the communities that have never been involved before. I really would love to reach into the Latinx community and get them involved in Pride and start kind of connecting them to the center and giving them a place to call home. I want to connect to the elderly LGBTQ community, though they like to be called vintage. So I shouldn't be using that term. We want to connect to our vintage LGBTQ brothers and sisters and give them a role to play in Pride. So yeah, we're talking about a little bit different route to the parade. Some of the city leaders have talked with us about just ways that we can perk that parade up even more and get more floats involved and just make it one big fun event.
Yeah, I'm really happy that Fayetteville in particular has been really supportive of the Pride Parade in particular. And also, even though as a secularist I'm not much into the churches, seeing some of the churches also get involved a little bit. So, I'm really hoping to see some good things happen for that in the future for you guys.
It's important to many people in our community that they have an outlet for their faith or their spiritual beliefs. And one of the things that warms my heart is not just that we have a number of churches that are inclusive, but we have a large variety of entities like your group that welcomes people who have a belief system that doesn't fit in a traditional church setting. That is one of the things I'm most proud of here in Fayetteville, but it's also really kind of spreading into Northwest Arkansas as a whole. Little by little, all of Northwest Arkansas is embracing the concept of diversity and inclusiveness.
Yeah, and I like to say, I keep saying that one of the reasons that Northwest Arkansas in particular seems to be, more progressive than the rest of the state is because it's Walmart Mecca. Everybody that does anything with Walmart has to come here for at least for a little while. Mm-hmm. And so that's, in one sense, it's kind of forcing their hand because they have, the area has to be more inclusive or else they're going to lose Walmart. And
exactly.
Then that's our bread and butter. So.
Walmart, a lot of the large corporations in our area have diversity and inclusiveness as one of their kind of cornerstone philosophies. I think one of the things, though, maybe with Walmart is, in many ways, Walmart has opened Northwest Arkansas up to the world. Mm-hmm. We have people from all across the world coming here to work for either Walmart or for one of Walmart's vendors. And they bring along their belief system, their influences, and it's like we may be surrounded by mountains, but we're not a closed off society by any means. And that's, I've lived in Dallas and Phoenix and Tulsa, Oklahoma City, and that is one of the things that surprises people so much is it's just how open Northwest Arkansas is to, the rest of the world, how many people come here either to live and to work or to stay, long term. It's really just amazing to many people because, they think of us as this like little closed off society, but we're not.
Yeah, it's definitely been growing over the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know that especially right now, there's a lot of, equality has happened. Why are organizations like this still relevant? So you want to kind of talk for that just a little bit for folks that may.
Yeah. Well, in many ways, equality hasn't happened fully. Marriage is the law of the land now, but we still see discrimination in seeking that right. I mean, just last week we had a couple applying for a marriage license in Benton County and were met with rudeness and attitude, and I'm not sure how else to describe it, but basically a lack of respect. So, we face a couple of things. One, the rights that we have retained or that we have gained, we have to fight to retain because consistently and constantly there are forces out there that would be very happy to take away what it is that we've gained. But we still have a number of rights and levels of equality that we haven't reached. Housing discrimination and employment discrimination are two really major areas that we are working on because we don't have those have that level of equality just yet. We have issues in employment, for example, not just sexual orientation, but gender identity, gender expression. All of those things really affect an individual's ability to not just get a job, but to get a job that it's at a level that they are skilled for, and then keeping that job, and then not being bullied and harassed and pushed around on the job. So we still have a lot of work to do. I've heard it a few times, just even from my own family. Now that you can get married, what else have you got to work on? Plenty.
Yeah, there's still quite a bit to do.
Yeah.
Now, some of my listeners may not, because there's some folks that aren't from Arkansas that may not be familiar with what happened last week. Do you want to talk about that just a little bit?
With the Benton County Courthouse?
Yes.
We actually were alerted by one of the members of our community, and they alerted us to what had happened, and then we saw the story on NBC. But two women had gone to the Benton County Courthouse to apply for a marriage license, as is their right now, protected federally. And they were met with an individual who enacted a number of stereotypes. For example, this individual wanted to know of the two women which one was the man. That's a stereotypical comment that lesbian couples hear all the time. They did eventually receive the marriage license after kind of having a verbal scuffle with this county employee, and no one stood up. No one came over and intervened and said, "Hey, chill out a little bit and give these people what it is that they're looking for." That couple had to fight for this right that had been granted to them. They spoke with the county clerk, I believe it was.
Tina O'Brien.
There you go. I'm still learning some of these names. I feel like I'd never lived here before. Spoke with her and didn't feel as if they had really gotten the validation and the support that they were looking for from her. Now, later on, KNWA reached out to her, and as well as some of the members of our community, once we aired the story, reached out to her, and she expressed a commitment to making sure that her employees treated members of the LGBT community with the respect that they deserved, and provided the level of customer service that anyone seeking whatever service they need at the courthouse, making sure that they receive that high level of quality customer service. So time will tell.
Right.
We hear a little bit about that from Benton County. We hear about Washington County and Washington County Courthouse and how relatively easy it is to accomplish whatever it is that you're needing, marriage license, name change, whatever. But it's a little stickier and a little more difficult up in Benton County.
Yeah, which is surprising since that's Walmart's headquarters.
Exactly so. But it just shows we've got more education to do. We've got to continue with our fight for visibility. We have to continue working for not just the rights that we have gained, but the rights that we need. But then even once we've gained those rights, we've got to continually work on adjusting the attitudes in our area.
Yeah, and I don't want to start a flame war or anything like that, but if anybody wants to contact Tina O'Brien's office, that's the Benton County Clerk in Benton County, Arkansas, in Bentonville. I'm not saying that y'all should send some hate mail that direction, but if you did, that would be all right.
A continual reminder to our elected officials that the LGBTQ community
basically
level, we've completed, our 10 years. We're looking at what it is that we do for the next 10 years. We have some of our own challenges. We're at this point where we have to really strengthen our infrastructure to enable us to grow the way that we need to grow. So we have sort of our own challenges here at the center level. We're having to really kind of shift it into a different gear and to bring everything up